From Tally to Cali.
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy. The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. It's game day, and we've got a mailbag chock full of coaching staff questions from the people, so don't yell at Corey and I for what we talk about on the show today. We also discuss biggest positional needs moving forward, and we're generating discussion sparked by Cummins. Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Promo code warchantbogo, warchant B-O-G-O. Buy one, get one free. That includes a variety pack. Try it out. Different varieties, obviously, in the variety pack. Immune Plus, Mood Plus, Focus Plus, Workout Plus, different flavors. Try one of them. You're going to find a winner. Can nearly guarantee it. I say nearly because, is anything in this life, Corey, 100%?
Just death and taxes and just that.
Yeah, so just hedging myself, protecting myself from exposure, if you will. Let Vitamin Energy make your day a little bit better. Shake it and take it. VitaminEnergy.com. Promo code again, warchantbogo. Buy one, get one free. Warchant.com, Ultimate Seminole Sports Source. Hit the thumbs up, everybody on YouTube. That'd be awesome. Thank you, please. 5-star review on the Apple devices, please. And join us. FSU won. 2 months, $1, as we get ready for the second half of this football season. As we talk to you here on a Friday, and Corey makes his way through Durham, our guy Island Chief says, Corey, Durham is a good bakery town. I don't know if you're an apple fritter guy, but there's a bakery near campus that makes them so good you have to call the day before to reserve one. Go ahead and make it your cheat day.
Yeah, I'm not a big enough apple fritter fan to go through that. I appreciate the tip. Honestly, I do. Anytime I'm going somewhere, folks, if you want to send in tips, that would be awesome. I'm just not a big enough apple fritter guy to warrant calling ahead and then driving somewhere to go get it.
All right, well, let's get to this Renegade Express mailbag since it's game day, everybody, which there'll be a pregame show and then also the JCS during the day. So much coverage getting you ready for this one. Big tilt between the Blue Devils and Florida State tonight, 7 p.m. ESPN2. Everything that you've grown accustomed to, post-game show, War Chant wrap, it's all coming later tonight, or maybe in the wee hours of the morning, the wrap, since, I don't know, man, these games are like, it's 4 hours now, right? We can almost say that for certain, it feels like, right? Like 4 hours for a football game in this day and age.
What angers me about that, Aslan, is there hasn't been a season, I think I saw this on Twitter, there hasn't been a season from our man Frimrau that has averaged this few of plays since 2007. Like actual plays in a college football game. The number keeps going down, and it's down to the lowest point it's been since 2007. Meanwhile, the games take longer and longer. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Riddle me.
I would imagine the commercials. You score a touchdown, commercial. You kick the extra point, now it's a commercial again. You kick off, back to a commercial. It's like, man, how's about
2-minute timeout
ruining our sport? Where I used to love college football games that took 80, each team got 80 plays. That was a lot of fun. Now it's down to 55 plays for each team, but the games are still taking longer because of all the commercials they got to cram in. Do it during the game. Be like soccer. Like have a Valvoline commercial during a play.
Yeah. Or like between, I mean, if it's a run of 2 yards,
yeah.
We don't need to see the replay on that. Go ahead and double box it and run your commercial to the side of it.
Correct, like they do in golf.
Yeah.
Whatever they call that, where the golf will be like you can see the quarterback getting the play in, looking at the coach in a smaller screen, and the big screen can be that a Doritos ad or something.
Maybe they'll listen to that. They've been listening to a lot of things that we've offered up on this show.
Yeah, man, they have. The No Flex Zone commercial. No Flex
Zone.
I love that. Nobody gets tired of that commercial.
No.
It's great.
Well, let's go to our guy, Mark M. Adam CZ. Wake up more now than ever. I'll just repost my reply to a recent thread about excitement about tonight and beyond. Quote, all I know is that Miami became a top 10 team by adding a quarterback who can play. Mike within the portal this year, everyone knows it. Same coaches with a 19-0 win streak, and some changes will be made with those coaches, no doubt. All Mike can do, current staff or not, is keep the young guys who want to be here, the guys who can play, and get Brock or Luke ready, hopefully both, to launch into 2025. It starts tonight. That's it. Corey, I look forward to your post-game wrap-up outside of the Duke visiting locker room. Going to be a Noles win. Brock rushes for 59 yards on his own tonight.
Wouldn't that be something?
Woo! Woo!
All right, how about that? Like, let's see that. Let's make that happen.
He might be able to make ACC second team if he does that and keeps it rolling throughout there. Let's go to our guy, Noel Tiggety. Wake up, gents. Could we quickly postulate at the midpoint of this lost season the top 3 portal needs going into 2025? And also a sidebar topic here. So apparently some really, truly diehard Florida State guy here has volunteered to break this alleged curse about the Solo Cup with something that you don't want to be eating. Yeah. This guy says that he's going to do it. I mean, I don't know, man. That'd be cool.
I would say that's dumb.
Cool.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
I would also say, I think, and for the people that don't know, consider yourself lucky. But some fan on Twitter said that if Florida State lost to Boston College, he would eat excrement out of a cup.
Dog. It was dog excrement.
Dog. Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, we need to be specific there. It wasn't like his grandmom's. But there's no curse there because he said if they lost to Boston College, he would do that. Well, they didn't lose to Boston College. Well, their winning percentage is better after the Boston College game than it was before. It ain't much better, but they've won a game since then. They were already 0-2 before that even happened. So if he'd have said that before Ireland, like, look, if this team goes 1-5, I'll eat, or if this team loses its first 2 games, then yes, there's a curse going on. But they were already 0-2 to begin with, so the season was already off the rails.
Okay.
Please don't do that. It's a dumb thing to tweet, but please don't do that. Don't eat that.
The kid says, I would die for Florida State University. So this is just a drop in the bucket when that's the bar that you're setting. But that loyalty is going to be needed to sustain through the cold summer, or the cold winter, rather. But what do we think about portal needs?
Do they have to maybe they need to sacrifice the fish.
Oh.
What if he eats the fish? What does that do to the world? Does the world just implode?
Oh, man. I wonder what number fish are we on? Like, they're on, like, UGA whatever. Like, they're on UGA 18. Are we on goldfish 34?
Probably.
Right
I don't know how long. Oh, no, I think goldfish live longer than we think. It's just hard to travel with them. So that, I don't know. I would guess, I think there's probably still in single digits.
Okay. All right. Top 3 portal needs going into 2025 as we sit here. And he says quickly postulate. So I guess we're going to have to also, we're not going to think about this current roster right now on this day, but what we envision it's going to look like, I guess, with attrition and things of that nature. But we know, obviously, Jeremiah Byers, Darius Washington, Maurice Smith, they have exhausted their eligibility, players like that. So, I mean, tackle, that's got to be the number one, or is quarterback number one?
It's the defensive line.
Okay.
I would think, honestly.
Who's leaving, though, man? I mean, Josh and Daryl are gone?
Josh Farmer, Daryl Jackson, and Patrick Payton. At least.
Off what, though, man? They're not going to – I mean, they might be, what, third-round picks if they're lucky?
Yeah, man, but that might be what they are. But they also, do they want to come back to a team that just went 2-10? Like, they go get paid and play for the Ravens or something and be an NFL player. So, I definitely think I would be surprised if any of those 3 came back. And you're going to need – yeah, man, Daryl Jackson can't come back, right? Like, he's done. So, I would think that you were – and we don't know – like, man, the offensive line, I get it. I don't know that these guys can't play tackle. I know they're not getting coached well. But I'm not convinced that they don't have 5 guys on the team right now that will be here next year that could be a serviceable to decent offensive line with the right coaching or the right scheme. I'm not convinced of it. I'm not convinced they do have it either, clearly, but I'm not convinced they don't. So I am absolutely convinced they need some serious help on the defensive line because they're going to be losing probably their 3 best players.
Everybody has, at minimum, 1 year. Well, Marvin Jones is a true junior right now. Peyton's a redshirt junior, so is Farmer and Jackson.
Jackson's a redshirt junior?
Yeah. He's the same class as Farmer. He just ended up going to Maryland,
that's right.
Then he went to Miami.
He's had a weird trajectory there.
And he sat out all of last year. So.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can get – I would be surprised. But I could be wrong. Yes, if you can get those 3 – and, look, that's where it becomes stupid with this sport again. It's like, okay – can you convince those – you know what it's going to take to convince those 3 guys to stay. You also know what your record is with those 3 guys. And it's – so
Why are you not lumping Marvin Jones Jr. into this? I mean, he's a true junior.
What is he? He hasn't done anything that would have me thinking he's going to take it to the next level.
Well, Farmer's got Cal tape and some stuff from last year.
Yeah, I mean,
what does
Farmer's
Daryl Jackson have? Really?
Farmer and Jackson are going to be drafted. Jackson's played fine, man. You're not racking up huge numbers as a defensive tackle.
And he's 6'5",
you know Jackson's going to test well.
Yeah.
He's going to get drafted. Peyton's going to get drafted, and Farmer are going to get drafted. I'm not convinced Marvin Jones would get drafted.
Not saying they won't, but it's just that whole opportunity cost. Like, leave and be a fourth rounder, or come back and at worst be a second rounder if you play up to your measurables. And
but that's a big if, right?
It is.
Could get hurt and never get drafted. So, yeah. And, after year 4, what's going to change to make you at year 5 a second-round pick? Like, all these guys are in their 4th year. I don't know that there's a huge
coordinator, new scheme.
I don't know on defensive line if that matters, right? I don't think that would matter with the defensive lineman. I think you either show it or you don't. But yeah, so I don't expect a big jump from year 4 to year 5. Marvin could have a big jump just because he's actually playing a lot of football for the first time in college. These other guys have played a lot. So, but anyway, the point being, if those 3 guys leave, which I'm assuming they will, but I could be wrong, you're going to need to replace them with really good players. But also, if they don't leave, it's because you've convinced them monetarily to stay. Now, would that money have been spent on other guys in the portal, or do you go try to get some bad out of the portal? Or do you try to use that money that you would spend on the defensive line to convince those 3 or 4 guys to stay? But either way, my point being, if they leave, I see this defensive line personally as being in dire straits. Like, I don't see anything special in the guys behind them. And they've been here for a while now. None of them, other than Daniel Lyons, have done anything of note at all. And you're going to need – and so – you're not going to be – you don't have a good defense anyway. If you lose your 3 guys up front, you're in real trouble. So you've got to figure out how to go get some real players on the defensive line.
All right, so –
that's my 3 needs, man. Honestly, all 3 are up there. Maybe throw in a tackle on offense, but all 3 of them are, to me, defensive line. Linebacker, too, I guess, if you want to go that route. But what would they look like with better coaching?
What about corner, man? You're losing Ventrell, probably losing Azarieh. But we like Quindarius. We like Charles Lester.
I definitely think you're losing Azarieh. You got Quindarius. You've got Charles Lester. You've got other guys. Our guy, Ricky Knight.
Yeah.
But you can't. I mean, look, they have needs everywhere. They're 1-5.
Yeah.
Every position is a need.
What about running back? You know Keziah Holmes is a redshirt senior?
Yeah, I assume this was he was on his way out. Yeah, I didn't think he'd. I mean, it seems like he's been here for a while.
I mean, I like Cam Davis. My guys, you got Cam Davis and Micaiah Danzy. That's good enough. And then Sam Singleton. So
don't you have somebody coming in?
Probably. Oh, yeah, my guy Byron Lewis from down there in South Florida.
But, I mean, look, again, none of these positions are playing well. They're all needs. You need to get better at them, but it's the top 3 needs. To me, it's the line of scrimmage, man. Unless after these next 6 games, you aren't convinced you have a quarterback on your roster, and then obviously that shoots to number 1.
Let's go to our coaching segment of the program. Bradley Moss, wake up. Do you guys see any possible scenario where Atkins is retained for next season? Also, Aslan, belated congrats on your lady friend. Any tips, advice on how to navigate the horror show that is online dating? How did you persevere? Thick skin, buddy.
Yeah. Maybe
I'll send you a DM or something. I don't know. It's you gotta have confidence, even faux confidence. Just it's a numbers game too. So just realize there's so many more women out there than there are men. So you're gonna have to come strong. But most of the guys out there are kind of creepy and say really weird things. So just don't be that, and you're already gonna be ahead of the game. So riff off something on the bio and just make it playful. That's all I can really give you is just actually read the bio, look at all the photos. Maybe they're taking a photo somewhere that you've been or you want to go to, make a comment on that. Like, open the door with like chivalry and something that's palatable and accessible. Like, don't be coming in hot. Like, God, you're smoking hot. Like, I can envision our children or something nuts. That's all I have clumsily right now, Bradley Moss. But for real, DM me if there's something that comes up. Send me a screenshot. I will walk you through it like a pro. I will be your shepherd through these dark times.
I don't understand why. I met Stephanie on Match, but nobody ever asked me questions like this.
Well, because it came easy to you, man. You're a natural. Like you.
Well, that's true. That's true. I didn't have the obstacles you did.
Yeah.
People naturally gravitate towards me.
I mean, you want to talk about the lost decade, everybody? My life here for the last however long it's been. Is there a possible scenario where Alex Atkins is retained for next season? Like if they end up going 5-7, let's say they go 6-7. Let's say they go 5-7, make it to a bowl, win that bowl game, and Cam Davis is running for 80 yards a game, and Micaiah Danzy's coming out the backfield and catching a pass or two that's breaking things open, in a large part because, you've got Otto and you have Jalen Early on the interior doing work. I mean, that's possible, but it feels very improbable. That's the only scenario I could see. It's where they somehow they end up winning the games that they should win. They should beat Duke. They should beat North Carolina. They should beat Charleston Southern. I shouldn't say they should beat Florida. It's a rivalry game, and but they don't have their quarterback. So, if you go 5-7 and you get into a bowl game because of your APR score and your branding, and then you win that bowl game, and this Brock Glenn kid's completing 65% of his passes, and he's throwing for like 250 a game. I mean, your offense just looks better. I could see kind of a let's make tweaks. Let's pull out the scalpel and put away the sledgehammer. But that just seems so improbable right now.
Yeah, and I don't know that I don't even know the wins losses matter, man. It's what does this offense look like? Because it doesn't. I mean, what does this offensive line look like? What does this offense look like?
If they go 5-7, sorry, Corey, but if they go 5-7, but let's say they go 6-7, they win their bowl game, but 4 of those wins are all of the Cal variety, where like you look gross, but you just kind of like grinded it out. Yeah. So.
But also the question is, do you see a scenario? Yeah. Again, nobody's going to force Mike to make a change. He holds all the cards, right? That's like something we don't talk about. Like whoever is the most important, the most important person in any department, whether it's a company, Fortune 500 company, or an athletic department, is the one making the most money. So Mike Alford is technically Mike Norvell's boss. But Mike Alford really doesn't get to tell Mike Norvell what to do. What is he going to threaten to fire him?
Right.
Fire me, Mike. Okay, go ahead and cut that check. And when you cut the check, I want to pose with a big check like I just won the lottery. And I want to do that right outside Moore. Like there's no cards to play. There's no leverage to make Mike Norvell do this. So, yes, there is a scenario where Atkins is retained because Mike Norvell doesn't believe it's his fault. I don't know how, personally, you can look at what this offensive line has done and what that position has done over the last 1.5 to 2 years. And, again, his best players have been Dylan Gibbons and apparently Jazden Turnentine.
Hey, Dimitri Emanuel is a all-ACC guy.
Yeah, right. And so guys that came from other places. None of his own homegrown guys except guys that they – basically threw stuff against the wall to recruit back when they first got here that ended up being decent players. But he hasn't done any recruiting and developing and evaluating that's paid off for the Florida State football program in 5 years. So that to me is the reason for him not to be back. But if Mike Norvell believes in him, it doesn't think it's Atkins' fault. Maybe he thinks it's all his fault, that he didn't help Atkins enough. And he's going to help his offensive line coach a lot more this year. Then, that's where I envision the scenario where, again, nobody's dictating to Mike Norvell what he's going to do. You hope he makes changes because he's a competitor, and this is unacceptable, what's going on now. But, that's the scenario where it doesn't happen. Mike Norvell doesn't want to.
Well, he did develop a little bit of Emmanuel at Charlotte before he came here, but point taken.
That was his guy at Charlotte, right, yeah.
I want to pick up to where you're talking about maybe Mike looks in the mirror and thinks it's mainly on him. Our guy Wadata _80. Wake up, gentlemen. Still in hurricane recovery mode from Milton, but looking forward to the game tonight as a much-needed escape, hopefully. Amen, brother. Yeah, I hope things are. I think my dad got power back on Tuesday. Man, it was brutal back there in Clearwater. I'm not smart enough to know, so I'm coming to you guys. So I'm going to put this one on you then, Corey. Is Mike Norvell's offense just too complicated? Is it possible the system just takes too much processing to set the line, make your pre-snap reads, post-snap reads? It seems to my layperson eye there are open players where the quarterback can't see them quick enough. Of course, bigger issues could be at play: injuries, offensive line being a turnstile, receivers' inability to catch, running backs falling down anytime they encounter stiff breeze, defense letting every team pick up every third down regardless of distance to gain, etc. after writing all that, maybe I'm not looking forward to the escape from hurricane duties and
Right.
should just skip the game and continue hurricane cleanup. Puke.
They might give you a win. They might make you feel better about things for a 3-hour window.
I think about that though, man. Like, there are people that really this is a job for me, and I still want Florida State to do well. So you guys are all feeling better. My friends feel better. It's better for business, obviously. But like, yeah, man, there's like real life stuff going on. There's people that are like, at least I can sit down and watch my Noles tonight. And there's like a chance I could disappoint them, and that pisses me off against Duke. But
Yeah.
I'm positive I'm pretty positive they won't. Is there any possibility that Mike's offense is just too complicated? When it comes to the offensive line, pass protection, they're doing okay. I don't know how much of, Mike's telling them, like, giving them a general idea of what they want the run play to be, but it's got to be on Alex. Alex is the one that's instructing them on how to get out of their sets. Like, he's telling them where they have to pull to, where they have to place their hand, where their first step needs to be, how they need to gain leverage in these certain situations. And I don't know how much of that is because, well, this is what the play calls for. So this is what I know you can't do this, but I have to call this kind of blocking scheme on this play. I don't know how much of that falls on the Mike's lap, and I don't think it's too complicated of an offense. I think we saw Brock operate it fairly efficiently enough, and it's crazy, right, Corey? Because we have either Jordan Travis as the barometer, who'd been here forever, really super smart kid, and then we also have DJ, who's played a bunch of football, hasn't looked great consistently anywhere he's been, and he was only here for 8 months, absorbing as much as he could. So, like, that's the spectrum that we're trying to judge on. Like, Jordan made it look effortless and easy most of the time, and DJ's made it look complicated and difficult most of the time. And I would defer to, I guess the truth is usually in the middle somewhere.
Well, and also, were the Memphis kids just the brightest kids on earth? Is because they averaged, they led the nation in scoring, or were top 5 in scoring in 2019, which is how Norvell got this job. So it wasn't that difficult for that team. And I'm just going to go ahead and assume that the Memphis kids aren't all Rhodes Scholars, and yet they did it. They operated it really well. So I don't think it's too complicated. That doesn't mean it's not. It doesn't need to be tweaked to your personnel. Clearly, the throws out wide, the RPO aspect, the P aspect of the RPO. If the throw isn't being in the middle, because the biggest plays they've made all season, the best the passing game has looked all season, is those RPOs or those RPO fakes where they hit the middle of the field. It's what they did to SMU a couple of times. You know what I mean? Like the shots down the middle of the field, like hold it in the belly of the running back, pull it out and make the shot. Brock Glenn had a couple of those too. Those are open. But the part of the game plan or the part of the offense where you pull it out of the stomach of the running back to throw it out wide to a wide receiver, burn that part. Like, it can be run. That's not too complicated. I see teams run it all over the country. Your team can't. So cut it out.
Does that not set up that stuff over the middle though? That is successful because you're stretching them out horizontally on those plays, so you'll live.
Do you have to get -2 yards to set up something else? Like, it never does well. Yeah. It's not like they get 4 yards out of those plays, Aslan. They lose yardage and almost get passes intercepted. Yeah. It never works. Never. Your receivers don't block, and the guys that catch the ball don't make anybody miss. But other than that, keep calling it. But I remember when Jimbo would talk to us about his offense. He's like, I can't make it any more simple. It's as simple as it can be. And I wanted to scream at him. Well, no, it's not, because you have very talented wide receivers who always are having to read a safety. And sometimes they read the safety wrong. Maybe don't give them an option route. Maybe just say, hey, man, on this one, it's an in cut.
Yeah.
On this play, ZY Zebra 96, you are not reading the safety, so you have to be on the same page, quote unquote, as your quarterback. You're just cutting inside. And your quarterback is not going to be surprised that you cut inside, because that's the only thing you do. And maybe there's just a little too much thinking involved with younger players, but that almost gives them a break. Like, at some point, the players also have to be better at it. But yes, the option part of his offense for this year, whether it's like we talked about Hakeem turning the wrong way against Clemson. There's been a ton of those plays, I think, this year where receivers have read the safety wrong or read the defense wrong and cut out when they should have cut in, or went deep when they should have stopped. All those things that are left up to the receivers, that option part of their routes has been awful, all of it. So that doesn't mean the offense can't do it. It means this particular team, for whatever reason, doesn't do it well. And you would like your coach to maybe just simplify it for them. But I don't know. Maybe in 2024, this is as simple as it can be. But quit throwing the ball out wide. I hope I'm wrong, Aslan. I hope they throw the ball out wide to LaWayne McCoy today, and he gets an 81-yard touchdown out of it.
Amen.
And
bro.
I'll happily eat crow. But I would burn that. I would not let my quarterbacks throw out wide. And I'm talking, you guys, you know what I'm talking about.
Is Dakota Fag from Xavier Lee in Jacksonville the last successful screen pass? Or was that a shot downfield?
That was a shot downfield.
Shot downfield?
I don't think that was a. It might have. It's a good point.
I
It
feel
wasn't
like
like
it was-
a 50-yard pass.
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of
pass.
yak.
I think it was an out route to get a first down, and then he made the guy miss and went down the sideline. I don't think it was like, and you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't mind that they throw near the boundaries. I don't mind. Not talking about the sidelines necessarily. The sideline at the line of scrimmage, those plays where they throw it 30 yards horizontally towards the sideline, and the kid catches it 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage. Those plays are 0 for 100 this year.
I'm looking at it right now. He ran to the sticks on something intermediate, caught it, and then missed the tackle was shed, and then he just busted it downfield. So
yeah, what a moment! The last great play in Florida State history.
Oh, of course, I'm about simplifying things. It doesn't get more simple than if you're not going to be in Durham watching the Noles. Then you should be at the corner pocket if you're in Tallahassee. If you're not in Tallahassee, we get it. You can't make it out to the corner pocket. But come check out the game tonight over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Get there early. Get a seat. 4 to 7 happy hour, setting you right up until kickoff. Come back on Sunday. Come back on Saturday as well. Sunday, happy hour all day long. Get the Cory wrap. Get the chicken wings. Get the soft pretzel with the beer cheese. Is that what it's called? Beer cheese?
Yeah.
Cheese beer?
Yeah.
They got everything you want over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. They don't miss. And don't forget, next week, same thing applies. There's going to be trivia going down on a Tuesday, bingo going down on a Thursday, all sorts of good stuff. And then watch the Noles shock the world as they take down Miami. I wonder who
Not only is there trivia going down on Tuesday, Aslan, but Corey and Stephanie will be hosting it.
Oh!
Yep.
Hey,
So-
you want to take my idea for, you put a jingle up on the board and you have to say what company it's for?
Might do that. Do that. We're spitballing some categories, buddy, but that's not a bad one. That might be something that's in play. But now I feel like I can't do it because you gave a hint to people on what one of the categories might be.
All right. So they'll start just diving into
They'll start
YouTube videos,
just
and
banging for the next to
jingles.
get that house cash.
Yeah. By the way, Miami next week. Miami's got Louisville in Louisville this weekend, noon. That's
It's a very losable game for them.
Yes, certainly. I wonder what the line is on that. That probably is going to say a lot about what people think about Miami. Anyhow, go to the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Let's not even dance around it, Corey. There's been a lot of questions about coaching, and I think this is probably, I don't know if it's the best one, but it's the one where I want to hear your opinion on it the most. So let's go ahead and let's generate discussion, courtesy of our great friends over at Cummins. As you know, everybody, every single week we showcase what we feel, or I feel, is probably the best question of the week that's going to be generating discussion on social media all across the FSU sphere, if you will. And then we do a grand prize drawing at the end of every month. We're doing a redrawing this month for the September winner because we were abandoned ship by a subscriber, which was very poor form. So with that said, let's go ahead and let's give away swag one more time. This is not good TV. How do I spin this thing?
There we go.
I figured it out. College education. And
We all know who's going to win anyway. This is predetermined. See?
Ooh. Pete Tingler, 81.
Nice.
All right. I'm going to DM you. I'm going to get your information. We're going to mail out. And also, shout out to our guy, Nick Knoll. I was waiting to get this winner squared away before we mailed out your thing. You are a winner. You'll be getting a swag bag, courtesy of our great friends over at Cummins. Give them a follow. Cummins Lifestyle. It's all one word on Instagram. So, coaching stuff, Corey. Coaching stuff. This one comes from Gator Kirk. So it's cool that we're going to finally we're going to reward somebody who's been in the trenches with us for a long time on this program. And he also adds at the end of this thing, though, I will be at the Duke game tonight. Would be awesome. He says it would be awesome if I somehow got to meet Corey this Friday. So no pressure, Corey, but maybe keep your eyes out for the reptilian one.
Okay, just keep yelling my name. I'll be around. You know what I'll look like. Come up and say hello. If you see, I don't really have I have no idea where I'm going to be before the game. I don't think I'm going to be tailgating or anything. But if you see me, please come say hello, Gator Kirk. That would be awesome.
Try to find where media will call us, Gator Kirk, and just camp out.
Yeah.
All right. So he says, why are the coaches' salaries being brought up so much by Warchant with respect to the record? If the salaries were $100,000 for each coach, would you be less happy with the results? Regardless of compensation, this is not the standard. So.
Did you ever fire up the.
Oh, sorry, Corey.
I mean, that's the only reason I do this, Aslan, so I can fire up the generator.
Hold on. Let me. All right. There we go. Okay. I mean, Corey's a company man over here. I'm just slopping things around.
What's going on? Cummins, I apologize for that. I apologize for my partner there. That was crazy. That was ugly. Yeah, it's a fair question. I think the reason I bring it up, the main reason I bring it up is to just remind people, number one, that Mike Norvell is not just fairly compensated. He is one of Aslan, the 5 highest paid coaches in the country.
Sounds about
6,
right.
something like that.
Yeah.
The other guys in that neighborhood aren't 1 and 5. So that's not great, number one. You're getting paid a lot of money not to win games, but also more relevant to the discussions we've had for a month now, we'll continue to have throughout the rest of the season, is if you're going to be making changes, well, that's a financial hit that your school, your university is taking. You're right. If they're making $100,000, if they were getting paid like Bowden in 1982, this wouldn't be acceptable. But when you're getting paid this much money, meaning the university, the fan base, the collective, the boosters have all given you this much money because they believe in you, you've got to have a better product than this. That's just the way of the world. And I mean, I probably bring it up too much, but you got a $65 million buyout. Alex Atkins probably has a $3.5 million buyout. Fuller's $2 million. All these other coaches are $1.5 million or $1.7 million because they all have multi-year contracts. So that's a lot of money. I just said a lot of money, like that will have to be paid for somehow if and when you decide to make changes.
I almost am less. I don't know if offended.
His question is good. Like, would you be less happy with the result if they were getting paid $100,000?
Yeah, I wouldn't be as mad.
Yeah. Would you be less angry? Yeah,
you get what you pay for.
Yeah, when you're paying. Imagine, Gator Kirk, you're one of these big money donors that have donated 7 figures to this program over the last couple of years, and this is the product you're getting. Yeah, you would be really mad if you had only donated. The people that have donated $50, yeah, they're mad, but they don't feel like they have as much skin in the game. And I think at the end of the day, like, well, you're kind of getting what you paid for. We're only paying our head coach $100,000. So what can we expect? He's getting paid like a high school coach. But yeah, when you're getting paid $10 million, that's part of the narrative. It becomes part of the narrative. Like, he's the one that signed the contract. He's the one that flirted with Alabama. This is what happens when this is what happens when you entertain other jobs or when other jobs come calling. And I mean, at the end of the day, you'd rather be Mike Norvell than us. No. He gets to cash those checks.
So according to USA Today, there's 5 people that are paid more than Mike Norvell, and that would be Ryan Day, Lincoln Riley, Steve Sarkisian, Dabo, and Kirby.
Okay, so I feel like they're all having better years than Mike. Lincoln Riley, not great.
Yeah.
But still better than 1 and 5. But that's the neighborhood he's keeping.
Yes.
So.
And then, so to that point, like I'm almost less bothered by that than I am the amount of money that they've spent on coordinators and what you're getting out of them. Where
correct, yeah,
you got a defensive coordinator who mainly runs man-to-man stuff, so it's not like he's creating these like really exotic, complicated game plans that's tripping people up. And listen, I wasn't complaining about the defense at all last year because it played awesome because he had awesome players. So Adam Fuller, if he's got awesome players, can be an awesome defensive coordinator. But seemingly, if he doesn't have that talent, which is probably applies to most people, can't do it. But Mike Denbrock from Notre Dame apparently is the highest paid offensive coordinator, $2.1 million. Guy at Utah's making 1.85. Garrett Riley at Clemson's making 1.75. The guy at Penn State's making 1.6. And Alex Atkins making 1.25, same as the guy from Kentucky and Wisconsin. Kyle Flood at Texas.
The guy in Kentucky's making $1.25 million.
Yeah.
Good
SEC
grief.
money,
All right.
Kyle Flood over at Texas is making $100,000 more than Alex Atkins. So there's some of that stuff. Defensive coordinators, LSU's coordinator, who's not doing great, is making $2.5 million. Michigan's coordinator, Wink Martindale, is making $2.3 million. According to this list, Adam Fuller's the fourth highest paid defensive coordinator in the country. Danton Lynn from Southern Cal makes less than him. Glenn Schumann makes less than him. Jim Knowles at Ohio State makes less than him. Phil Parker at Iowa makes less than him. Kwiatkowski at Texas makes less than him. Tosh Lepoe at Oregon. I'll stop.
Yeah.
That's
So that's I think it comes with the territory. And maybe we don't need to actually say the number, but when you're one of the highest paid coaches in the country, or one of the highest paid coordinators in the country, I do think that factors into the anger when it looks like this. Like literally, they could have saved $1 million and had me be the O-line coach. It could not be worse. That doesn't mean it won't get better. Still got a second half of the season. But this offense has been an absolute disaster. And I think when you throw in the fact that, people would say, I just think when you're paying the kind of money that Florida State's paying, you expect better results. That's the deal. That's how life works. Gene pays me a lot of money. If I wasn't generating these eyeballs and these clicks, Aslan, he would have made a mistake. But in all honesty, as we can both agree, I was the best decision Gene Williams ever made. Right or wrong?
Ira, and then you.
Okay, so I was wrong.
And there's a huge, massive drop-off to
you're
Jeff
probably
and me.
right. You're probably right. That's probably fair. That's probably fair.
I was going to try to pull up DJ Durkin as like this. DJ Durkin's making 1.2, and Adam's making like a little bit under 2.1. Auburn's got really good traditional statistics on everything across their team. They are the 33rd gross offense, total yardage. Their total defense is 47th, but like they only have one more win than Florida State. So.
Yeah, they turn it over a ton. That's their issue. Florida State's just not been good. Auburn's been a little bit unlucky and turnover prone, and he can't coach his quarterbacks well, but they have some real talent on that team. But this ain't wake up War Eagle.
Good call. Shout out to Pete Tingler, 81, the winner for the September gift bag from Cummins. We'll get that mailed out as soon as I possibly can here. Again, every single week, warchant.com, be a member, get into the Renegade Express mailbag, have an awesome question, and have not been a winner yet. And we'll feature you in this segment. By the way, everybody who wins in the week gets entered into a monthly drawing, but everybody who wins in the week gets entered to the grand prize drawing for that portable generator, portable power station. And I know my dad was chomping at the bit to have a generator. So maybe I need to have him get an account at Warchant and ask a question. And maybe he can be one of the guys that can be in the drawing. Although we'll eliminate family members. I joke. Alrighty then, with all the coaching stuff out of the way, next man up is going to be, let's go to, actually I lied. One last one. Random_John. Good morning, Aslan Core. I've heard folks at Warchant put the over-under on coach replacements at 3.5. If you were Mike's advisor, what coaches would you suggest he change to have the biggest positive impact on the team, and what kind of coaches would you want to bring in? Why do you feel the way you do about your answers?
Yikes.
Golly, thorough. Is this like a lawyer? Is John a lawyer?
Yeah.
I'm going to steal your answer from the other day. I'm not going to go through every single coach, but I think obviously it's like running game. What can we do? Glenn Sugiyama, Jimmy Sexton, the Brain Trust. What coaches out there are very good at developing effective run games, and how can we either steal their ideas or steal them from their current employer?
Yeah. And I don't want to go down the list of coaches who I think should be fired. You're not getting me to play that game.
What kind of coaches? How about that? Do you want younger guys? You want
football
guys
coaches,
NFL pedigree guys? I don't know what kind. Pedigree.
Yeah, man. That's a crapshoot, right? That's why. Who'd you say? Glenn who?
What do you mean, Glenn who?
The search party guy.
Oh, Glenn Sugiyama. Yeah.
You just said his name. That's
Glenn Sugiyama. Yes, I know. We got
that's
Brock
why
Glenn,
he gets paid the big bucks. He's the one that organizes these deals. No, I don't. I don't think you can go get like a coordinator from an SEC school, a big time school. So you need to go find somebody that's either young and up and coming, or a guy that's done it really well at a smaller place for a while. try that out for size. And I'm talking about either side of the ball. Because, again, what I don't like about the offense is it's awful, and the running game is spectacularly bad. What I don't like about the defense is the physicality and the fact that they can't play zone ever. They don't force turnovers. They don't create havoc. But they give away a lot of easy completions. If I was going to make a change on that side of the ball, I'd like to make it where in 2024, I think you watch all these other teams around the country that, they get a lot of turnovers because they are almost turnovers because they're playing zone. And Florida State plays zone some. Like, they'll have Patrick Payton back off. They'll have a linebacker back off and play a part of the field or a safety, but they don't do it well. You don't remember a lot of plays this year, Aslan. There have been a few, but you don't remember a lot where you're like, wow, how did he not intercept that?
Yeah.
But, you see it all across the country where guys are right there in position where the quarterback it doesn't seem like the quarterback gets confused a lot.
And it feels like we might see that tonight on the other side, because that's Manny's whole thing is like trying to.
Yes, you confuse them, and I would like to confuse opposing offenses more than just when Florida State was great last year on defense. Again, I'm not diminishing the role of the coaches when it came to that. They had very good players, and I don't think and this probably isn't fair. I'm going to go ahead and admit that I don't think opposing offenses were as confused as they were just overwhelmed. Late in the season, Florida and Louisville specifically, and Duke, but they had a back. Leonard played, but he was hurt. They were overwhelmed by the sheer just greatness of the players on that side of the ball.
Yeah,
they couldn't block them. They were overwhelmed by it. It wasn't as if the guys on the defensive staff just completely out-schemed the other guys. They couldn't run what they wanted to run because they were overwhelmed physically. I would like you to have a decided schematic advantage and really find somebody that can fool other teams. But, so that's what I would be looking for if I was going to make a change on either side of the ball. Offensively, give me somebody that can create like Aslan said, any kind of running game, or a guy that can just put up a ton of yards and points. Those are always fun, right? I don't care how you do it. Give me yards, give me points. And then on defense, give me somebody that can create some turnovers and confuse the offense.
I was looking through my phone. I was like cleaning out some stuff to open up some space on my phone. There was a screenshot I had from when Jimbo hired away I don't know what his last name was, but the TJ fella that Mike brought with him from Memphis here, but he didn't even coach a game because he went to.
Yeah.
And he was like, he's new here, but he knows what Elko wants to do because he was at Memphis with one of Mike's disciples, Adam Fuller. And I'm like, man, like right now, Mike Elko is the belle of the ball. Like his third down defenses are like NFL-esque. Like every single week, apparently he has different third down packages, like pressures, and it's just like tripping everybody up. And I'm like, well, like where were you in the office then, Adam? Like, and I know they do cash down every single day. Like there's periods specifically devoted to third and fourth down situational stuff. And it's like, what, were you guys like in different offices? I mean, like what kind of disciple doesn't have the same kind of, some semblance of like that reputation of developing like these hellacious pressure schemes? Because they brag about like, hey, we just run man, like we run man and we like our guys better than your guys. Yeah. Which you could get away with that when you had Braden Fisk and Jared Verse and Fabian Lovett and good linebackers and really good defensive backs. But apparently they don't have that this time around. But right. Island Chief did have a question other than his apple fritter recommendation. He says, much of my work life has been spent in sales. One thing I learned early on, I sucked at selling stuff I did not believe in myself. First person I had to sell every day was myself. I look at Mike Norvell this year and I see a guy who is saying the same words, following the same processes, with many of the same people around him, and what once was successful is now no longer. My question is, did the snub cost Mike Norvell his faith and his messaging? Does he no longer believe in college football? Funny that he mentioned this, Corey. So on Wednesday, I was like, I don't know. I'm like, I feel like getting hurt right now. I've never watched any of the cinematic recaps of any games. So I went ahead and decided to jump into the Orange Bowl one.
Oh, wow.
I didn't watch it start to finish. I just kind of wanted to see like what points they have him mic'd up like during a game, pre-game speech, post-game speech. And he talked about, his post-game speech was about, life, life's not fair. It's all, you get knocked down and it's all about response. And then after they beat Cal, so like they haven't done a cinematic recap since the Cal game. So I watched the Cal one, or I scrubbed through it. And like he said the same, he's like, listen, life is all about getting knocked down and response. And you guys did that every single time. And I'm so proud of you guys. So, yeah, he is saying a lot of the same words and following a lot of the same processes, and he has a lot of the same people around him, and it's not clicking. I don't know if he's lost his faith in the sport. I mean, I know he's pissed off about it. I mean, if you hear him, the way he talked in that post-game locker room after that Orange Bowl game, and that was not going to be something he was going to be able to flush easily. I can't quantify how much it's lingered on him in the program. I mean, I'm right now at just the fact that, man, they missed on a bunch of guys in the portal, and I don't know how he got to the point where he misevaluated so many people at so many key positions. You know, maybe he was in some sort of fog from what happened to him last year, and that's how the snub affected this year's team, is that they just weren't in the right mind space to properly evaluate and vet guys. That's the only dots I can kind of quasi try to connect.
Yeah, I don't think he's lost faith in the sport, but I do think what happens when a guy is here for an extended period of time, like longer than Willie, is I was thinking about it. Like I've probably said the same thing to my son 250 times. 500 times. Like, literally, I'll hear myself saying it, and I'm like, God, I've said this 100 times already. But, number one, what I'm saying is true. And number two, there's only so much you can say. Like, you can't – yeah, Mike Norvell believes in what his message is and what he's saying in the moment when he's talking to us. But, like, when you've been around for 5 years, of course you're going to repeat yourself, and you're going to say the same things over and over again because that's just what people do. Like, imagine somebody – like, comedians – they'll have an hour special that they've been working on for a year and a half. And then they flush it and take another year and a half. I mean, the good ones anyway. Take another year and a half or 2 years to come up with a whole new hour. Like, it's hard to come up with new stuff to say. There's only so many words. There's only so many ways you can tell a team you're proud of them or what you want to see from them or what you believe in. So I think that's what it just sounds like he's regurgitating the same stuff. But all coaches do. It's not like Nick Saban in 2017 was saying something different than Nick Saban in 2013. It's the same stuff. Everybody that had been in that locker room for more than half a minute had heard him say all the same stuff before. Every Florida State player that played from 1985 to 2009 remembers what Bowden would say when they had a lead in the locker room at halftime.
Right. They don't score.
Defense, if they don't score, we win.
Yeah.
He said it every time. So that's just the nature of coaches. They do say the same stuff over and over again. I don't even know if that was the question, but they're just going to say the same stuff over and over again. That's what we all say. We all repeat the same stuff over and over again.
But you believe it, though. That's your point about you telling it to Brady over and over is because you know it's the right message to send to him. And part of the question is, did the snub cost Norvell his faith in his message? And to which I say, like, no, because the way he delivered the Cal comments versus how he gave it to a team that was absolutely heartbroken and shattered, it's like he's still believing it. He's like, hey, this is proof positive that, we can't control certain things except how we respond in these situations. And we did it really well tonight, and that was against Cal. And then, unfortunately,
they didn't do it really well, but
the defense did at least.
But, but it's also like I'm not worried about his faith in college football or the faith in his message. I'm worried about his own faith in himself because it has to have been shaken.
And when those checks clear on the 1st and the 15th, I don't think he's lost his faith in college football.
Yeah, exactly right. But I do think he's lost. How could he have not have lost faith in himself?
Well, no, he didn't. What did he do wrong, though? How could he look in the mirror?
He's got a 1-5 football team.
Well, I mean about the snub.
Oh, no, I don't care about the snub. Yeah. I'm saying just the faith he has in himself right now as a coach
right.
has to have been – there has to be a crisis of faith right now for him. Unless he's a sociopath. There has to be a crisis of faith and like, man, am I doing things the right way? Clearly I'm not. What have I done wrong? What did I do wrong? How did I make this happen? How did I let this happen? If he's any good at all, if he's worth any part of that money that he's getting paid by the Florida State University, then he has to be having those questions in inner dialogues with himself. He has to. And there is a faith crisis with him. There has to be in what he's built and how he builds it. And hopefully he figures out what he did wrong and doesn't ever do it again.
All right. I think we got through all the coaching stuff. There's actually some good questions here, which I probably should have sprinkled in before we got there. Our guy, Jaronol 1518, could this become another 2021? Terrible start, overall losing record, but by the end of it, you knew things were headed in a positive direction and you realized you had a quarterback you could build around. And if it were to play out that way, do you think it prevents Mike? All right, we're not going to go down that path. That's more coaching. We've done plenty of coaching. Love you, Jer. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we actually already answered that question.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see if Brock Glenn is the next Jordan Travis. You did have Jordan Travis. You also had Jermaine Johnson. Those are two pretty dynamic players on each side of the ball that you could build around.
Jermaine Johnson was gone after 21.
Well, that's what he's saying, but you had a 2021 turnaround.
All right.
I would be surprised if that happens, just because I just would be surprised. It doesn't. But also, even if it does happen, they are different. I brought this up, I think, on headlines, maybe on this show. I talked too much. That the 5-7 in 2021 would be wholly different than the 5-7 in 2024 because you were building out of a huge hole that you did not create. This one, even if you are to turn it around and get to 5-7 or 6-6, well, that ain't great, man. Because you're 6-6 and 5-7, even if you somehow miracle yourself to 6 wins or 5 wins, that's still way below what you need to be doing at Florida State in year 5. So there's no way it creates positive momentum, in my opinion. It wouldn't create a lot of positive momentum because it's your own hole that you dug. So I don't know. I don't think it's like all of a sudden, yeah, look what Norvell's doing with this program. He's really turned it around. Well, he's the one that turned it around. He's the one that did the 180 from when they were awesome. It was on his watch. So now he's just done another 180 and they look to be good again. But okay, do I believe that? Or was that just a lucky 4-game stretch? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how. I don't think that would. I don't think it would feel the same. I guess is what I should say. But beat Miami and beat Florida, it all is forgiven, Mike.
Woo. It's 2024, and although the Cubs did win the World Series, nope, no flying cars. But our innovations have yielded things like phones that tell us what song's playing and televisions the size of mattresses for mere dollars. And tools to help us groom without the stresses that we had to deal with of yesteryear. We're men, we're tough and all that stuff, but some bits a little bit tender, a little bit sensitive, maybe a little bit delicate. Well, Manscaped has crafted devices to safeguard our hardware. It's called skin-safe technology. It involves the use of blades with advanced ceramics and rounded teeth. I mean, the thought of teeth near the jewels. But hey, rounded teeth? All right, sounds safe, feels safe. Head to manscaped.com, use the promo code WARCHANT to get 20% off your order. Manscaped, like landscaped.com, promo code WARCHANT for a deep 20% discount. Manscaped.com, be him and trim. All right, we're back at it. It's Wake Up War Chants presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Use that promo code WarChantBogo. Buy one, get one free. Home stretch here. Again, these are questions I probably should have sprinkled in amidst the coaching queries. Also might need to use some executive decision next time around and start bundling some of these together, but that was a bad job on my part. Anyhow, Grumpy BK, we're officially in the back half of the season, which means Adam Fuller's defense is going to finally solidify. Combine that with the moxie of Brock, and I think we might have something tonight. Here's looking at you, offensive line. Don't mess it up. My question, how much is the offense repping deep pass in practice? Are the reps there, but we just aren't connecting, or is the offensive line not allowing for those plays to develop in practice? Feels like that has been a huge missing piece from our offense all year. It's a back and forth battle between the O-line. I mean, the defense, there's plays where I'll log it, Corey, where I'm like, all right, that was a sack. Same way that you're like, all right, we used to argue about it last year. I'm like, that's a sack. You're like, no, it's not. It's Jordan Travis. He won't get sacked in the game, and you were usually right about that. But yeah, it's not like they're forcing the issue to go downfield, but they can't because they don't have enough time. Pass protection wise in the games, they've been adequate. Is that fair to say, Corey?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there were times even against Clemson where I was like, man, Brock's got a lot of time to throw.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of time to throw. They, I think pass pro they've been adequate, serviceable, competent. But when it comes to deep shots.
And both those guys like it, man. I think Brock and Luke, they work downfield and they come down. Their progressions descend as opposed to ascend. Like they're looking for that deep shot downfield. And there's guys, listen, we're on the sideline 15, 20 yards away from the line of scrimmage, and you hear guys galloping past you consistently. I mean, this is not like some sort of West Coast offense where they're just running like flood zone stuff where three guys are just there's a shallow, there's an intermediate, and there's just a medium beyond that. That is part of what they want to do. And I think Brock and Luke embrace that. Not that DJ did not, but I think DJ just never felt comfortable for whatever reason. I don't know if his leg was bothering him, if he never truly had a feel for the pocket because the offensive line maybe wasn't what he was expecting, or He wasn't on the same page with his receivers, but these guys, they want to get chunk plays, and they realize they have to, man. This is not going to be an offense that's going to do those drives that we were joking about yesterday, right, Corey? Like, this is not going to be the 12-play, 83-yard, 7-minute offense, but they're going to have to get huge chunks quickly.
And that's one of the things that was very discouraging about the way DJ was coached and the way the games were called, or his decision-making, however you want to phrase it, when he was playing is, as I said very early, you need to be taking 2 or 3 shots a quarter. You might hit one. The only reason they scored at all against Memphis was the 70-yard pass to Malik Benson. And there was one. Was there one against Cal that he almost had Benson for like another 80-yard? Like, take those
just
shots.
Overthrew him. Just overthrew him.
Or take those shots.
He finished his route. Maybe he might have cut his route off weird, Malik. I don't know who it was on, but there was a deep shot that he took.
No, but I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying that was open. That was a chance at not free, but that's a chance at an easier 7 points because you have to know your offense. Your offense, Mike, ain't going to put together an 11-play, 80-yard drive. It's not going to happen. Not since the first drive of the season. So, and you're going to have to convert 3rd and 11, 3rd and 9. You're going to have to make some crazy plays just to get past midfield. I would have thought the deep shot would have been something they did all the time, and they didn't. And that was, they've thrown more sideline passes, screen passes than they have deep shots. I would love in the second half of the season to see deep shots with Brock Glenn become a part of this offense. You don't want them intercepted. As long as the receiver tackles the kid that makes the catch, it's like a punt. Well, not a master mono punt, not without leg cannon. No. But still, like I just take some shots, man. Take some shots. You the one thing you do have, I know it hasn't been exploited or used at all, is speed. Malik Benson and Jaylen Brown are fast.
Mekhi Danzy, if you want to.
Mekhi Danzy is electric fast. Like, use that. Take shots. Just take shots. But they don't do that a lot.
Paul, yeah, you're right. Mekhi, sorry. I keep saying Mekhi. I'm sorry. I'll stop doing that.
Yeah, you do. I meant to bring that up. I like that's how it's spelled, right? He's got an I after it, right?
Yeah, but it makes sense that the I would be silent as well. It's fine. I get it. All right, I think we made it to the end of it. We got one last one here. It's our guy, Naked_Noel. Wake up. I'm going to defer to you per usual on this one, Corey. I don't have the pop culture knowledge to pull this one off. Imagine we were living in a Space Jam situation where 5 members of Florida State football, player or coach, have had their talent stolen from them. Fortunately, the football containing the stolen talent has been found, and the talent will be returned. When the players or coaches get their talent back, they will perform like they did at their peak. Which 5 players or staff returning to prominence would allow this team to win 5 of their final 6 games?
But guys that are currently on the team?
I would think so, yeah. Or maybe play up to their, I guess when they've been at their best, like just, let's say Josh Farmer plays like he did the 4th quarter against Cal all the time or something like that. Possibly.
Yeah, Farmer, Jackson, and Peyton.
Okay.
And then, it's not like any of the wide receivers have ever shown a great peak ability.
What about DJ? Like the best that he was ever at Clemson, and that's what he always would be.
I can't watch him play quarterback anymore.
Okay.
Even if in this Space Jam Monstar scenario, I still don't want to see it.
Darius? Darius?
Yeah, I was going to say Darius and Maurice, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Which I guess that kind of dovetails into the whole, we're back at square one in the show and we talk about portal needs, like defensive line. So you're talking about getting guys back at peak performance on the defensive line and the offensive line.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we need tackles.
When it comes to the coaches, I do want to reiterate this. It's not like these, and this is an old dumb cliche, but these guys didn't forget how to coach. They're coaching the exact same way they did last year and the year before. Yeah, Alex Atkins at practice. I guess I can't say this with certainty, but I'm assuming Alex Atkins in the film room and on the sidelines is the exact same Alex Atkins he's been for the last 5 years. So it's not as if he lost his coaching ability. But I know that sounds bizarre for me to say after I just lamented how bad his line is performing, but there's just a disconnect or something. Or these players they're not getting developed well enough. Or his scheme his offensive line, the way he teaches it, doesn't work well with this scheme at all, and Jordan Travis isn't here to mask it anymore. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But I know Alex Atkins can coach offensive line. He's proven it. But it ain't working here right now. But you know what, Aslan? It starts tonight. It starts tonight. They're gonna They're gonna run for 3 bills.
Right here.
They're not gonna just run for 100.
Yeah.
They're gonna run for 300.
Oh, come on, don't be
300.
facetious. Don't be facetious.
They're gonna have 200-yard rushers. That hasn't happened at Florida State in a good long while, I would think. Maybe the Duquesne game. And then Brock's gonna have 59 of his own. And they're gonna be over 300. 3 bills on their way to 40-10 thumping.
Ooh.
It's going to be boring. It's going to be one of those games in the fourth quarter where the announcers are talking about the upcoming slate on ESPN, all the big games. They might even interview Kirby Smart in the third quarter about his big game against Texas coming up later in the weekend.
Which, hey, by the way, again, as you need other rooting interests possibly this weekend, I don't know if Florida's playing or not, but Miami obviously playing Louisville, which, by the way, Louisville 5-point underdog at home.
Yeah. But
Corey's point about needing to root for the Big Ten to continue to look like blah. I was, I don't know what channel my TV was on, but I was doing stuff around the house, and it was, big noon kickoff. Nebraska versus undefeated Indiana. Join us. And it's that's your big – listen, they want the noon slot. Fox wants to own high noon. Their whole pregame show's catered around it. They want to put their best games in the Big Ten that they have on their docket in that window. And as we sit here mid-October, the SEC is going to be throwing out Texas and Georgia playing each other. Third, it used to be, is it the third? Yeah, the 3rd October. I thought it was.
It's Alabama, Tennessee.
Alabama,
right?
Tennessee, yeah. And then you've got Nebraska taking on undefeated Indiana in the Big Ten. So.
Yeah, nothing against those two teams. They've had much better years than the team we cover. But, I don't know how many eyeballs are going to be on Indiana football, ever. The Big Ten would be smart to go get them some name brands, some marquee teams, and give them a lot of money to go get awesome.
What do you think about Georgia, Texas? By the way, Texas a 5.5-point favorite. Game will be at DKR. That's Darrell K. Royal Stadium, Austin, Texas, everybody.
I think if Kirby pushes Quinn Ewers is going to deck him, and there's going to be a brawl. Georgia's defense doesn't look like a typical Georgia defense at all. And I just feel like Texas's offense, but it's also Texas. So how do you ever really trust them?
Quinn Ewers, yeah.
But you know what I mean? I assume they're gonna have a dud of a game. And but I just assume that Texas is gonna. Texas has the better quarterback, in my opinion, at least the better college quarterback. And I think they have the better defense. So and they're at home. Those are usually 3 pretty big factors. So with all that said, Georgia by 20.
Go Dogs!
That's how my betting life works.
All right, that's a wrap for us. Again, so updated here. So check out our Twitter feed, Wake Up Warchant. There will be a over-under link in there. Over-unders that we went over on yesterday's show or 2 days ago. Join it, enter it. Anybody can enter it to win $10 of Garnet and Gold. The pregame show is going to be part of the JCS today. So JCS will be as normal, 1 to 3 o'clock, and then from 3 to 4, that final third hour that they now have, their magical hour, that's going to be devoted to a pregame show. So tune in for that. Warchant TV, 93.3 FM as well. Postgame show going on 10 to 15 minutes after the game, and then the Warchant wrap to follow later on our YouTube channel as well. So
there's also a new coach speak out.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So go listen to that.
Who was your favorite one of this week, Corey?
There were some good ones, man. Gundy, apparently, he did his press conference on Zoom, but audio only because he didn't want people to see his face because he says he got head-butted by a cow. So that's true. That's what he said. He had an accident with his cattle. And has a black eye. So who knows how he really got the black eye. I don't think he head-butted a cow, but that was his story. So that was funny. That was always fun. And then Jeff losing his mind at Shane Beamer again was fun to watch too.
All righty, there you go. A buffet of options for you folks, however you want. Also, D-Rob film breakdown with Brock Glenn up on our YouTube channel for you X and O's addicts or whatever. So go check that out. Get educated. Thanks for listening. We'll be back on Monday with the show because, they're going to be doing a press conference on Sunday, apparently. Corey, did you see the schedule? So there'll be press conference Sunday, practice Monday, practice is close to us Tuesday, and then practice back open on Wednesday as they get ready for the Canes. Extra day to get ready for the Canes.
Yeah,
Gators taking on Kentucky tomorrow night. So,
that's right. Okay, that's a good game.
Yeah, enjoy that one. It's going to be in the swamp. So, all right. Appreciate y'all listening. That's Corey. I'm Aslan. Get involved in the over-under contest. Get involved in all the options across warchant.com. Have a great one. It's been Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy.